Welcome to World of Marketing Podcast, a Foster Web Marketing production. Here's your host, Tom Foster.
Hey everybody, it's Tom Foster on the World of Marketing, and today is a special day. Today is what we've got a series on the World of Marketing, the staff series, I think is what I call it. You know, I can never remember Alexander, but I've got my buddy Alexander Scott, our Senior Digital Marketing Strategist. Did I say it right?
Yep, you got it.
I did it. I said it right. All right. Well, listen, Alexander is one of our top guys that we recruited. He is a brilliant man. And not only is he a brilliant man when it comes to digital services and taking care of our clients, but he's also a man's man. And that's what we were just talking about. I was like, Alexander, you are one good looking man and you are built like a Mack truck. And I asked him, how in the world did you get there? So why don't you share with, because some of you are watching the video, some of you are not, but you should see this man because he is what every man wishes to be. Alexander, you are that. So let's talk a little bit about how you got to be this magnificent person.
Thank you so much, Tom. With that, I would start, let's say, on the sports side. So growing up, I was introduced to football. We played in this team. It's called like the PAL League. I'm not sure if they have it in other states, but PAL League. So it introduces kids to the sport of football, and it's really just a great introduction.
How old were you when you got started in football?
Oh, for sure. I was, I want to say 10 years old.
Okay, 10. Yeah, good.
Yeah. So it started early there, and very competitive sports. So that gets built in you pretty early, where you're like, okay, not only do I want to play, but I want to be the best because it just feels good to be that way. So started there. I started at wide receiver, and then sometimes I did play defensive end. From there, got into basketball a bit. I did play for a team. I think that was in middle school. High school came around and I totally transitioned into wrestling. Wrestling was probably what opened the door for me to do a lot of other things, because wrestling just requires you to be not only strong, but you got to have that endurance, and you have to have the mindset. You have to have the mindset that when you're under pressure, like that physical pressure, someone's trying to pin you down, you need to know that you have that under control and trust yourself and your instincts and just what you practice with. So that moved me from wrestling to MMA due to a friend of mine, from MMA to boxing, and from boxing into bodybuilding, and then from that into powerlifting, and really just throughout those times, it felt good to train myself for a certain amount of time and then see what I can achieve after. So, I've just kept up that mindset despite, the tech world or digital world. I know that's different from some of the sports aspects, but in the same sense, it's you apply that mindset. You apply
exactly. There's a challenge. It's a challenge, and that's one of the things about you is that every time that there's been a challenge, you don't back away. You're like, no, I'm here. Let's fix this thing. Let's figure out what's going on and resolve it.
Yeah, for sure. It's because you have to, and I know that ultimately it's just going to make you better. It has no choice because you just get exposed to it. If we're talking exercise, I remember when I was training, or when I was becoming a certified personal trainer for a while, it was one of the things I learned is that when you try a super heavy weight and you're shaking and you don't feel like you can, your muscles you're having to incorporate muscles and ligaments you didn't use for that specific movement. But when you come back to it, you're not shaking as much because the body is already adapted to it. So it's the same thing with the challenges, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm. So what we've got for you folks today is Alexander has prepared presentation, right, Alexander?
Yep.
That I have just briefly seen. But he is, and so I would like him to go over this with all of us today, because I think it's very cool. It is an example of how should I say this? It's everything that you have been doing for your clients, right?
Yeah, it's that, and it gives you just an idea of, we set some of these goals, and clients all have different goals, of course. But in an overall view of it is, yeah, they want to succeed. They want to get more leads. They want to have more
Right.
visibility, and the path to doing that, of course, through SEO and what that looks like. So yeah, it's just being able to kind of showcase how we've been able to accomplish that.
Yep. So let's see it.
Okay, awesome. So I will
Very
go ahead
good.
and share my screen here. Okay. All right. So starting off, I just wanted to get a snapshot of just the clients that I worked with over the past year. Alexis, Nate, who was on the podcast, I believe, Kenny and Russell, and then we have Case Barnett, Mark Blaine, Max Myers, Tu Keller, Jim is great, of course, and then
Tim Keller,
that's
my
just,
buddy. Yep.
yeah, just an overview of that there. And kicking off the intro, yeah, of course, and Spark Video fixing feet as well. But so I started with Alexis Law. Alexis, he's a estate planning attorney. That's his specification. He also works in family law, divorce law, child custody, things of that nature. Also a bit of bankruptcy. So with that, some of the primary aspects that we wanted to focus on was Facebook ads. People sometimes feel a bit wary of doing Facebook ads, but they can work if they're just set up a certain way. And then, of course, it depends on the avenue that you're in. So that was a big deal. Lead generation. It felt great to really get him to just higher heights with that. So with the installation of Intaker.
Hold on a second. Let me just back up. The Facebook ad, you've seen a 1,000% increase in traffic.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we did. It's the setup and the
just
design.
kind of glossed over that. I just wanted to point that out to everybody.
No, the setup of that, the Facebook, of course, it's the display of it. It's whether it's video or the design. So with that, it was like, okay, let's see how we can capture people's eyes. So that was a big point. And when that paid off, I was so happy about that.
Yeah, very good. Well done.
Yeah, so that was great. And so yeah, lead generation went up. Organic search. When we started off, Ted was not showing up when we typed in Brooklyn estate planning lawyer. It just wasn't showing up for him. So over the course of the year, we got him to be, I think he's number one now, but we got him to go with the top two for that term, Brooklyn estate planning attorney, and the same thing for asset protection attorney, and some of those similar keywords. So right now in Brooklyn, he's showing up for what he wants to show up for in the top one or top two. And then for the organic results, he saw a 430% plus increase in organic traffic, 118% in direct, and 107% increase in email traffic.
Wow.
Yeah, form completion goes, he saw a 275% increase with the form completion. So that was moving in the right direction. One thing I wanted to highlight was his estate planning workshop. He came to me and said, hey, I'm going to start a workshop. I'm going to get people where I'm educating them on what the estate planning goals are, what their goals should be. And we actually ended up getting this page to rank top 6 in all of New York for estate planning workshops.
That's fantastic.
So that was like awesome to see. For Nate, so Nate is a criminal defense attorney, specializes, of course, in DUI defense, criminal defense, and everything that falls under that umbrella. One of the bigger things that we wanted to bring out for Nate was, of course, lead generation. You know, when we met, it was like, hey, we just want to make sure we get more aggressive with leads. So that was what we focused on. So we were able to get his leads to higher heights and have a lot of times where we hit these new highs. Offers was a big part of that. So he wrote out some ebooks and we were able to get people to download the ebooks, and just doing that and being able to present that on his page and his site was like a great feature that I'm glad we were able to do.
Yep.
And then
we put Nate Amendola on the map.
It was, yeah, that, and I was so happy to see that because within Massachusetts, it just wasn't where we wanted it to be. So I'm like, okay, if we can make sure that when somebody types in criminal defense attorney, that he is going to show up for that. And then he ended up showing up for that. So for Massachusetts DUI arrest attorney, we were able to get him on the first page where he wasn't showing up, I think 2 or 3 pages. So we were able to move him up there, show within the top 3 there. And as far as his traffic goes, Nate's site saw a 624% increase in organic traffic. He saw a 103% increase in direct and a 540% increase in social traffic. And that was just definitely happy again to get on some of those results.
Yep.
All right.
Kenny Berger. Now
Yeah.
we're talking Kenny Berger, great friend, great, but longtime client. I'm so glad that you're working with Kenny. He has referred so many other great clients to us, and I think that you're working with some of them that we'll talk about. But yes, I'm so glad that you're working with Kenny. He's just doing a fantastic job and always has. But go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. I honestly love working with Kenny and Chelsea. I believe you two went like golfing, or do you go golfing maybe once a year or something? Or
What's that?
do you and Kenny go golfing often, like once a year, or do you?
We used to see each other more frequently than we do now, and but we've had some adventures together. Let's just put it that way.
That's yeah, that's definitely awesome. So with Kenny, Kenny is a personal injury attorney in South Carolina, and with him, it's just making sure that he stays front and center all things related to accident injuries in South Carolina. So with that, let's take a look at the Local Pack. Local Pack, of course, is it's huge real estate to have when you can show up there, because that comes up before the organic traffic, or the organic results, I should say. So with that, for personal injury lawyer or car accident lawyers, top terms, Kenny does show up first within that Local Pack. And then lead generation, we were able to get him some higher highs with there. So often, maybe over the past few months or so, we were able to get him some of the top leads that he's seen over the past year, which is something I love. I want to make sure he's always moving in the right direction.
Right.
The organic search, so we were able to get him to be within the top 3 for a lot of the terms, of course, the Local Pack, and then also within the SCRP. So he's showing up naturally for South Carolina personal injury. You type that in, he shows up first in the Local Pack and then first organic. Some of his results, so he saw 149% increase in organic traffic, 124% in referral traffic. And once the law was passed for people to sue for the Camp Lejeune injury, we helped to create a content structure for them to leave the Camp Lejeune term by itself. So whenever you type that in, more often than not, you'll see them pop up first.
Wow. That is fantastic work, because that is highly competitive.
It is. I have to thank them for jumping on it quick. They got a lot of great content out, lengthy content, and we were able to kind of put together some of the contact pages or just the offer pages that were structured to really gain us not only like leads, but just the overall good traffic. So I was happy about that.
I spent a lot of time down in Camp Lejeune. I was stationed down there.
Really? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
And what I enjoy about that is I think that it's like you're actually able to help people who are looking for help. And then when you can refer them to somebody great like Kenny, I think that that's just all the better.
Yep.
So that's amazing. So yeah, we were able to develop some custom call to actions that look like this, to where we included Columbia, we included Myrtle Beach, which was links to their Google map pack. So that was great.
Mark Blaine, another great attorney, great guy, good friend. Been with us
Mark,
for a long time.
He has. That I looked at that and I was like, wow, that's really amazing that he's been here and he just has all good things to say about it.
And he started out as a do-it-yourselfer, and he was doing all this on his own and adding content on his own. And then he got so busy that you took over, and look what you've done.
Yeah, we've done so many great things with Mark, and I'm always happy to have these calls with him, because one of the bigger things was we included custom panels. With the custom panels, we were able to kind of reshape his site and his practice areas a bit to present just the information to Google as they index, to show them like, hey, this is when you think of this term, you think of us. So the custom panels really came in handy there. So I thank the dev team for that. And with the introduction of that, his lead generation really saw a spike just over the course of the past year. He hit
That's
a
great.
lot of new highs. It got to the point where he's talking now where he's able to turn down cases. He's able to be very selective with the cases that he takes in, and he just says that he's happy that he's able to do that because he's getting more leads than kind of his office is able to handle at the moment, but he's going to grow into it. And I'm like, we love to hear that. That's great.
For sure.
So when we type in California dog bite, we see Mark popping up within the top 3.
He's also great on social media. He's really good on social media himself. Dude, I love the little bits he does on Instagram, and he's out there doing it.
Yeah, he does that.
Right.
His TikToks, he's big on TikTok. And
his TikToks are funny. Yep.
Yeah. Being able to talk to the camera. And that's what I love. And like you mentioned, him being like a do-it-yourselfer. Whenever he sends a video, he always sends the content associated with it, and he's willing to upload on YouTube himself. Like, he's still very hands-on. I like that.
He's really good. He's really good. So, so everybody, I mean, like, you want to watch a superstar attorney that's doing really good marketing for themselves. That is Mark Blaine. And, we're able to help him, assist him with his website, but the stuff that he's doing, he's generating on his own. I mean, he's so smart. Anyway, great job to Mark Blaine, and great job to you for help supporting him.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely happy to support. Like you said, he makes it easy just being that person who's like, I'm going to provide you with what you need, and then I'm going to make sure I do that.
Yeah.
So Mark saw an 82% increase in organic traffic. One of his bigger goals was, hey, I would like to get to 10K users on a monthly basis. And we were actually able to achieve that. I want to say maybe about 4 or 5 months ago. And now he's maintaining, I want to say 11 or 12K as we continue to increase.
Wow.
So we were able to hit that goal and keep going past it.
Fantastic.
Happy about that one there.
Russell Button, another great. You got a lot. You got all my favorites.
And Russell and Kenny are good friends. So I'm not sure maybe who the referral was, but I'm glad
Kenny referred Russell. Gotcha. Kenny was first. He referred Russell, and Russell refers a lot of people too. So
yeah, Russell. Speaking of hands-on, he is that person. He's a person who very, very smart. He understands the aspect of marketing and just,
He's another one out there on social media that's doing a great job. I see him on Instagram. I'm always liking his post on Instagram. Good stuff out there with the daycare injuries. He's an advocate, man. He's doing a great job there.
For sure. Yeah. As a daycare injury lawyer in Texas, as big as Texas is, we were actually able to make a lot of movement there, which I'm happy about because, like I said, with the place so big, you want to make sure you stand out. So with that, we introduced the custom panels for him as well. And we were able to get a lot of good movement. For example, for the local pack, he's the first one that I've seen show up twice for a term when you type it in. So when you type in daycare injury lawyer Texas, he shows up twice on the local pack.
Wow.
And then on top of that, in the organic search, if you type in Texas daycare injury, he comes up first, and he has like 2 pages that come up subsequent there. And just to mention that for amongst his competitors, we were able to get him to rank really high for the child injury term. So whereas he wasn't showing up in the first couple of pages, he's showing up on the first and the top 3 or 5 positions. That was great. Homepage panels, we were able to get some things designed for him. So click the call actions we did for that one. We were able to do these 3D booklets here. Russell is great with pushing content, with pushing the videos. So whenever we need something like that to really get some of the lead generation going, he's always willing to, produce that for us. So we had that, and then we got some of the success stories here. And his leads and whatnot have definitely hit new highs as well. So I was happy to come across that or to be a part of that. All right.
Case Barnett. Our California friends.
Yeah, Case Barnett. They honestly really great to work with. They have such
Super sweet people, man. Case.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Case is like one of the most positive people that you'll definitely come
Right.
across.
I love talking to them.
Love his energy. Yeah, him and Nicole, I love their energy. They're really
Yep.
great.
They're just good people.
Mm-hmm. So one of the big things we did with him was a navigation update. Originally, the navigation it was very elongated and it just will cover up a lot of the content and the way his site is. I love the way his site's designed. So we updated the navigation to where it's more of a widespread. You can see the content, but be able to move between subcategories a lot easier. That was great for the user.
I agree with you. That Case Barnett is one of my most favorite design sites of ours.
Yeah, mine too.
So it's so California. It's so California. It's so beautiful. And it's Nicole's the one that really is behind that. I mean, she's really meticulous about it and did just a fantastic job working on that.
Yeah, definitely. And it's even better because, with him being on Good Morning America recently,
right?
His site, looking the way it does, it just helps because people go there and be like, wow, I love this design.
Right. We make really, really nice designed websites. This ain't your WordPress website, people. These are very special websites designed for superstars that go on TV. You don't want to have a crappy website when you get on Good Morning America, like Case.
For sure. You want to, that was a huge point. And adding to that, so personal injury, of course, we wanted to make sure we had to show up for that as a personal injury lawyer in Costa Mesa, California. So we updated the office page to be featured as like a secondary homepage. And with that, we were able to show up. So we weren't showing up for Costa Mesa personal injury. It was like maybe on the third page or fourth page. We now show up first. This screenshot has us show a second, but we show up first for Costa Mesa personal injury.
Fantastic.
That's what I was happy.
There's more than one way to skin a cat, right? I mean, you figured it out, right? Like that way. Yeah.
It's evolving. It's adapting. It's like, okay, this way might not work, but maybe this way works. Let's see if we can incorporate that. So,
exactly.
So we got the movement there.
That's what I love about you, Alexander, and the rest of the team. There's no quit. There's no quit in you. There's just like, okay, well, that didn't work. Let me come up with another way, right?
It is. And I know as Google is updating, as the algorithm updates happen, I think that's the great thing about marketing. That's what we love. It's changing. It's ever evolving, and we just have to evolve with it. But that's great because that means we ourselves don't stay stagnant. So I love that aspect.
And it's so satisfying to do it, to get there, to once you get there, so satisfying.
Yeah, and the client when they're happy about it as well, when they're like, oh, sure. I'm showing up here, like yes. So Case Barnett, they saw a 190% increase in organic traffic, 192% increase in direct, and a 44% increase in referral. The office page that we just referenced for personal injury saw an 8,000% increase, with 12,000% of that being over the
wow.
So that was like, okay, great. We're definitely moving in the right direction there. All right, so we were able to move up there, and then they also reached new all-time highs when it came to lead generation. So
that's fantastic. Good work.
Thank you. I appreciate it. To Keller. So to Keller, they are based in a few different areas. They're based in Michigan, Indiana, or Indianapolis specifically, and New Mexico or Albuquerque specifically. Just moved into this great building. It's called the Darth Vader building in Albuquerque. It's really, really cool. But being based there, we wanted to make sure that they maintain and continue to grow into just a strong presence because, they're just at that level. We want to make sure we honor that. So working with Jim, we were able to accomplish a lot of great things for his site and really for his SEO, which was what he wanted to focus on. So with that, the original around the time I got the account, we weren't ranking for like personal injury terms in Indiana or New Mexico, and that's what Jim just was expressed like, hey, I would like to have this happen. So I just took that and was like, okay, let's make this happen for you. One of the bigger ways to do that was just, hey, we need on-page content. We have these beautiful panels that were designed, but Google is looking at that and they're like, oh, this is great, but I'm not going to associate you with this term. So we moved those down, took a few of them out, and just swapped that with great on-page content. After doing so, we were able to have Jim begin to show within the local pack. So if we take a look here, oh, this actually got moved down a lot. Okay, I'm not sure how that happened. Let me come back here. Okay. Okay, maybe this got moved around a little bit.
That's all right.
Anyway,
Jim Keller. Jim Keller. Two Keller's been a client for, oh my gosh, it has to be 14, 15 years. And so he has been through multiple redesigns and iterations of his website and through multiple strategists like yourself. And he speaks so highly of you and what, because he and I have personal conversations all the time. And he is just, thrilled with what has been happening and frustrated too when things aren't happening the way he wants, of course.
Yeah.
He's in a very competitive business. He's in 3 states. 3 different states that he's got to manage. That's a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety for the man.
Yeah, it's multiple states, and then at the same time, very competitive places.
Yep.
Indianapolis is very competitive. Albuquerque is very competitive. And with that, what I like the most about our sites and, what we've been able to accomplish with them is that his competitors, their sites are it shows them primarily being based in that area. His site is showing that he's based in multiple areas. But not only is he able to compete with them, but he's able to be above them. We've had him ranked within the top 3 in the local pack in Indianapolis for all of the terms that he wants to rank for. He often shows up within the top 1 or top 3 organically. And then for Albuquerque, it was the same situation. We just got him to rank a lot better for New Mexico and Albuquerque. Some changes that we made recently when you expressed some of the frustration that he's had, we were able to work through that. And whereas he wasn't showing up in the local pack for those terms, I want to say a week later, we got him to show up for semi-truck accidents, auto accidents, some of those big terms.
Exactly. And one of the things that I very much appreciate about you and the whole team is how fast you are to respond. Because Jim will text me and be like, I need to talk to you guys right now. And you're right there. Like, I'm available right now to talk about this. Let's address this issue. Let's fix it. And me, I'm like getting on an airplane. I'm like, I can't talk right now, but you're like, I can talk right now. And I'm like, okay, great. I get off the airplane. I get an email from Jim talking about, oh, I feel so much better. Fantastic. Things are great. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, that is just excellent client support, customer service. Alexander, you just do a wonderful job for our clients. I cannot thank you enough for what you have done for our client. And we were talking about, before I hit record, we're talking about the team. Mm-hmm. And what do we have? What do we have now? How many?
Strategists, is it 11 of us?
I think 11, and we just brought another one on.
Yeah.
And Susie Backus, who runs the whole crew, who's been with me for years and years. She's just done a fantastic job. And that has been what has really grown in this company is our agency aspect, in that we've taken a lot of those clients that you are working with started out as do-it-yourselfers, what we call do-it-yourselfers. And what they got successful enough with DSS that they couldn't do it themselves anymore. And honestly, we got to be honest, you cannot DIY personal injury. You cannot do it.
No, it's too competitive. It's
too competitive.
Yeah, you have to come at it. You have to do omni-channel marketing. You have to come at it from a lot of different angles.
Right. You cannot be a lawyer. You cannot practice law and then try to do this. You've got to have like the mind, like an Alexander, that is doing that. That's all you're doing. I mean, like if you're not in the weight room, like throwing weights around or throwing people around on the wrestling mat, you're, in GA4 or figuring it out. And that's the thing, is that, I mean, I think that you can DIY like estate planning. I think that you can do some of those you still can, but you certainly cannot DIY personal injury. Cannot. All of those examples were personal injury.
Yeah,
right?
They were. Yeah.
Yep. And you cannot DIY criminal. You cannot, those highly competitive areas, you need help with that, folks.
You do.
Really do. And that's what we have found. So many people that come in thinking, oh, I can do this. You need the power of DSS for sure. You need the power of the DSS website supporting it. All that he was talking about with the panels and the changes, all that stuff. DSS is your secret weapon. DSS is the cutting edge that allows you to be better than a WordPress lending, be like everybody else website. That's what, right?
For sure. Yeah, you have the flexibility. You have the ability to work with people who have a design background and a coding background on the front end, on the back end. Like, you have so much at your disposal that's trying to take it on yourself, like, DIY with like a WordPress or any site like that. It's very difficult to remain competitive. DSS gives you so many tools to be able to do that on the SEO side, but importantly on the backing side. It lets Google know, hey, our sites are running fast. Our sites are well designed, and Google loves that. That's why, we can be supported with these better positions.
Yep. And DSS on Cold Fusion is cutting edge. Adobe uses Cold Fusion. Adobe pretty much runs the internet. I mean, like, give me a break. Like, WordPress is based on old code, like PHP, MySQL, old stuff, man. Like, people don't get it. This is the way if you want to be competitive, and this is in the PI world, that is where you need to be. You need the slight edge, and the slight edge is DSS, and people need to wake up to it, man. Well, certainly your clients have, and you've done a great job with it, Alexander. You've done a fantastic job, and boy, do I appreciate you being on our team.
I appreciate the support, honestly. It's really amazing, and it makes me feel when things like that come up, if a client reaches out and maybe they're frustrated about something, it's the confidence in maybe facing a challenge, but also that I have just a team behind me that they're willing to support and just have that passion the same way that I do. It makes it so much easier to work with because we're all going for the same goal. We want to make sure the client is happy. We want to make sure they get results, and that is so much easier when it comes to us being able to solve problems.
Yeah. Well, Alexander, thank you so much. I know you're a busy guy. You're working on a lot of clients. We went a long time today. I appreciate you, everybody. This has been Alexander Scott, who is one of our top senior digital strategists here at Foster Web Marketing that works on our top accounts. If you are interested and finding out more about working with us, fosterwebmarketing.com. That's how you find out. That's how you get started. Come talk to us. We can help you. If you're stuck in a box, if you're dealing with people that aren't telling you the truth, which you probably are, get out of it, because there's relief. We're here for you. All right, Alexander, thank you so much, everybody. It's been Tom and Alexander on the World of Marketing. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Hey, Tom Foster here. We recorded this episode of World of Marketing a little while ago. If you enjoyed hearing about Alexander Scott's client results and insights, you may be interested to know that he has since been promoted to Director of Marketing Services. He is now running point on keeping our services team up to date with best practices in local and on-site SEO. Be sure to reach out to us at fosterwebmarketing.com if you'd like to work with Alexander and the rest of our all-star services team.